وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها صدق الله العلي العظيم صلوات.
Ahsan, Jazakallah, brother. Let's start loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajal. Now I would like to request Brother Muntazir to come beside Salam. Salawat. For those brothers and sisters that are outside, if they can come in, the program has started.
फ़ज़ाइल के कुछ अशार पर मसाले बारी दिगर बुलंद तरीन सलावत। ताज़िया तेरा गलम तेरा अज़ा तेरी है ताज़िया तेरा गलम तेरा अज़ा तेरी है यानी हर शहर में एक यानी हर शहर में एक करबो बला तेरी है ताज़िया तेरा वलम तेरा चाहते हैं जो बुझा दे तेरी मिदहत का चरा चाहते हैं जो बुझा दे तेरी मिदहत का चरा उनको मालूम नहीं है उनको मालूम नहीं है कि हवा तेरी है ताज़िया तेरा गलम तेरा चार सू गूंज रही है जो अज़ाने शाबीर चार सू गूंज रही है जो अज़ाने शाबीर चार सू हल्काए मातम चार सू हल्काए मातम की सदा तेरी है ताज़िया तेरा गलम तेरा सलावत कर सलावत नाना तेरी ज़ैनब लौट के आ गई है ना तेरी ज़ैनब लौट के आ गई है। दरबारों में बाजारों में तेरी दीन की आन बचा गई है। नाना तेरी ज़ैनब लौट के आ गई है। ये नील रसल की शानों पर ये खाक बला मेरे बालों पर। ये नील रसल के शानों पर ये खाक बला मेरे बालों पर। नाना मेरी हस्ती खाक बना गई है। नाना तेरी ज़ैनब आ गई है। नाना तेरी ज़ैनब लौट के आ गई है। बाजारों में दरबारों में बाजारों में तेरी दीन की आन बचा गई है। नाना तेरी ज़ैनब लौट के आ गई है। करती हूँ सवाल ये अब तुमसे बेपर्दा कभी देखा था मुझे। करती हूँ सवाल ये अब तुमसे बेपर्दा कभी देखा था मुझे। नाना ज़ैनब की रिदा काम आ गई है। नाना तेरी ज़ैनब आ गई है। नाना तेरी ज़ैनब लौट के आ गई है। ये खून की छींटे चादर पर लिपटी थी मैं लाश अकबर पर। ये खून की छींटे चादर पर लिपटी थी मैं लाश अकबर पर। नाना एक बर्छी दिल में रखा गई है। नाना तेरी ज़ैनब आ गई है। नाना तेरी ज़ैनब लौट के आ गई है। नींद आती न थी जिस बच्ची को कहती थी पुपी अब घर को चलो। नींद आती न थी जिस बच्ची को कहती थी पुपी अब घर को चलो। नाना जिंदा की ज़मीं उसिका गई है। नाना तेरी ज़ैनब आ गई है। नाना तेरी ज़ैनब लौट के आ गई है। हल्के जो पड़े हैं आँखों में हूँ रोती रही हूँ राहों में। हल्के जो पड़े हैं आँखों में हूँ रोती रही हूँ राहों में। नाना यूं मौत मेरी घबरा गई है। नाना तेरी ज़ैनब आ गई है। नाना तेरी ज़ैनब लौट के आ गई है। चादर का मुहाफिज था गाजी तस्वीर त मेरे बाबा की, चादर का मुहाफिज ता गाजी। तस्वीर त मेरे बाबा की, नाना उस रास तराई आ गई है, नाना उस रास तराई आ गई है, नाना तेरी ज़ैनब आ गई है, नाना तेरी ज़ैनब लौट के आ गई है। दरबारों में बाजारों में तेरी दीन की आन बचा गई है, नाना तेरी ज़ैनब लौट के आ गई है। चलो
Jazakallah, bari diga salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Today, this is the last majlis of our this week and session of Haza. Inshallah, we will, lot of pray that will be here next year also. Maybe tawfiqat, please our let's recite 5 times Amma Yujib for all the people that are sick, continue to be around in our community, in our across in Arachinar, in Gaza. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mustaraiza da huwa yakshfu ammai jibul mustaraiza da huwa yakshfu ammai mustaraiza da huwa ammai yujibul mustaraiza da huwa yakshfu da Muhammad. For your Marhumin, for the Marhumin whose name is on the monument, for whom there is no one to recite Surah Fatiha, and for all the Marhumin who we have lost during this year, let's recite. Bismillah. Before I ask Seyed to join and give his speech, if I could request all of you to come a little bit forward, so we can create atmosphere of a majlis. Great, thank you. With loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajal falim. On behalf of all the members of the community, ICZ community, or ICZ BOT, and Seyed Hadi Yassin, would like to thank Seyed Abbas Azwan for being here with us for these majalis and giving us knowledge and experience. Thank you. The loud salawat, let's write. Allah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم إلى قيام يوم الدين. It is truly sad to see majalis of Imam Hussein alayhi salam come to an end. Many of us, this is what we love. This is how religion has been spread. You ask yourself, most people, what do I know about religion? Most of it comes from the mimbar of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. The way that your parents learned, their grandparents learned, especially sometimes deep topics, is you can learn through the nur and light that presents itself in these majalis and gatherings. What is the purpose of these gatherings? The purpose is to learn about Imam Hussein, to become like Imam Hussein alayhi salam, but most importantly, to be a companion of the Imam, to train ourselves to learn so that we can become a companion of Imam al-Zaman. So that is why these majalis are so important. It is building next companions of Imam al-Zaman, because there's this relationship between the revolution of Imam al-Zaman alayhi salam and Imam Hussein. When you look, for example, Ziyarat Ashura, 2 times Imam al-Zaman Ajjallahu Sharif is mentioned in Ziyarat Ashura. When you look at the traditions, you see the qualities of those that will fight for Imam Mahdi. Ya la Tharat al-Hussein, those that will seek revenge for Imam Hussein's blood. So you see that one of the seekers actually of revenge of Imam Hussein in Dua Nutbah and other places is Imam Azam. So if you're going to help his movement, Imam Hussein has to be important for you, because it's important for Imam Azam. And the entire purpose of these majalis is to become and learn from the Shuhada of Karbala, so that we cannot become like the Ahl Kufa. We cannot be like those that are writing letters to Imam Hussein, thousands and thousands of letters. Sometimes you compare this to thousands and thousands of dua of Imam al-Zaman. We're ready. Come back, Master, Mawla, we're ready. This is the final Imam. There's no other Imam. And God forbid, what would happen? He does duhur and we're not ready. We said we're ready, but we're not ready. So these majalis teach us to be of the companions and ashab of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Be courageous, to be able to have a detailed ma'rifah. We gave you stories from these last 3 nights that if a person sins, that person that had sinned, he was not a companion or the khadim of Imam Hassan Askari alayhi salam anymore. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. And that is what deen is. Religion is very clear. When Allah designed Islam for us, brought Islam for us, all it was that there is a holy figure, a divine leader, that's a prophet or imam. All you have to do is follow them. Very simple. All you have to do, you have questions, you ask them. And there's no question they do not know the answer. The imams would say, ask me before you lose me. Nobody else claimed this except the imams, because they had this knowledge. So Allah made Islam very clear for us. Just follow Prophet, follow Imam, you'll be fine. And actually you see that Isa alayhi salam and other prophets, for example, when they came, they also commanded their people to follow them. So we are looking to have taslim, to submit the will of Allah to the will of the Imam. And if you submit the will of the Imam, then you'll be guided. Because the Imam is guided, and he will take whoever loves him, follows him, he will take him to guidance. They are the gateway to Allah. So therefore, the purpose of these majalis is very deep. It's an institution, it's a university, it's an academy that is training us, teaching us how to be a khadim of Ahlul Bayt, how to be a slave of Allah. When you look at Ashura of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, you see 3 types of groups. Ashura of Imam Hussein. The first group you see are those that were stagnant, those that didn't do anything, didn't want to help, didn't want to fight, didn't do anything. And actually they were of the losers. The second group you see are those that went down in position, and those that hurt Imam Hussein, those that fought against Imam Hussein. One of the worst sins a person can do is to fight against an infallible Imam. There's no other sin worse than this, maybe. To see a hujjat of God, to see the sign of God, to see Ayatollah al-Uzma. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, I am Ayatollah al-Uzma. I am the great sign of Allah. I am the greatest sign of Allah. Fighting against Ali ibn Abi Talib, fighting against Imam Hussein, it's directly fighting against God. Look at the example of the people of Thamud. The people of Thamud were a group of people that in the Bilad, nobody had a civilization like them. They took the mountains and caves and cut into it and made a great and vast civilization. A prophet came to them by the prophet's name of Prophet Saleh. He told them that I am a prophet, worship one Allah. They did not believe. He asked them, this time it's very interesting, he asked them, show what miracle do you want? I will give you a miracle. What do you want? Just paraphrasing. They said, from these mountains, they're mountain people. From these mountains, why don't you bring a she-camel? Bring a she-camel from mountains. People know. She-camels, a naqa, a she-camel does not come from a mountain. It has to have parents. So, Prophet Saleh made dua. Allah accepted. Allah brought the miracle in exactly with the same description that they wanted. A she-camel miraculously appeared nowhere. What did they do? Who knows the rest of the story? What did they do to the she-camel? فَأَقَرُوهَا. Right? They slaughtered it. Took that sign of God. فَكَذَّبُوهُ فَأَقَرُوهَا. They denied Prophet Saleh. They asked. He asked them, what miracle do you want? You want this? Okay, I brought it for you. No, that's not enough. They went and killed. Interesting note about this story in the Quran. فَأَقَرُوا, those that speak Arabic, they know that the waw here means plural. فَأَقَرُوهَا. They slaughtered it. They hamstrung it. But actually, it was one person that did it. One person hamstrung and killed. Quran says, فَأَقَرُوهَا. And the entire bala happened on everyone. Why do you think one person kills, but Quran says they killed? One person killed, but Quran says they killed, plural. Because one person killed and the rest were silent. The rest allowed it. The rest, nobody said, stop, don't do it. So all of them were enjoined in that sin. This is a note for us. You see what is going around the world. When we see haram, when we see that one of the worst things that somebody can do is kill another human being. Worse than this, kill babies. Put explosions where their limbs go into pieces. And we are quiet, that means we're complicit. Means we are complicit. We have to fear Allah more than fear anyone else. Because Quran says in this story, plural he uses, because people were quiet. People allowed others to do this. Then Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, they give the example of this story. This is, we are like the example of the naqa, Prophet Saleh. How are we like the example? He says, because this was not a normal camel. Another interesting thing about this story is how many animals get killed in Hajj, slaughtered. Million maybe, right? How many deers, for example, are killed on the road, or animals killed or roadkill? How come bala doesn't happen for them? Why? Because of one camel, God brings calamity. Because that camel was a sign of God. It was not a normal camel. It was a sign. It was meaning that was a sign of God. So Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, they use this story and they say, we are the she-camel of Saleh. We were the signs of Allah, not a normal human being. Not normal. Imam Hussein alayhi salam is not a normal human being. If you just kill a human being, then you deserve this type of punishment to be la'aned and cursed. When you kill Imam Hussein, it's as if you have killed all of Islam. You have killed all of Islam. Shaheed Muhammad Baqir al-Sad beautifully says that Imam Hussein is not a normal person that lived, oddly person that lived in one time period and died in one. Inna al-Hussein huwa al-Islam. Hussein is Islam. He is all of the goals of Islam. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, if you ask, what is Tawheed? Show me Tawheed. Show me oneness of Allah. Well, who would you point to? Imam Hussein. Show me Tawheed, Mawahid. Show me the worshipper. Show me aqa'id and belief. Whose heart had the belief of Allah, Nabuwwat, Ma'ad. Who feared Allah? Who feared the hereafter? Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Who has akhlaq? What are the components of Islam? One is the beliefs. Two is the akhlaq, the ethics. And three are the practices. That's Islam. So these three things, who was it in? Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So when they killed Imam Hussein, they killed all of Islam. They killed the living Quran. They killed the sign of Allah. So therefore, we understand that what those people did was not a normal. Do not tell your students or children that they just killed Imam Hussein. He was not a normal. One hair of Imam Hussein alayhi salam is worth the entire world. One of the ulama passed away. He says, I'm going to say something to you. Maybe tomorrow the newspapers will make fun of me. He says, I tell you that the chador, or did you say chador for the sisters, abaya, chador of Sayyidah Fatima, he says, the chador of her cloak, says the cloak of Sayyidah Fatima outweighs the entire galaxies, he says. Cloak outweighs the entire galaxies. He's a philosopher. He's a theologian, he said this. So this is not a normal person. When you confront Imam and he has the signs of Allah, human beings are the best sign of God, because Allah has breathed from His own soul into human. You are fighting against Allah, fighting against. So therefore, that regression, we said. So some in Karbala were stagnant; they didn't do anything. Some they regressed, like Umar ibn Sa'd, for example. His father was who? Umar ibn Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. Where did he conquer? He was one of the generals who fought against the Persians. In some of the areas of Persia, he got Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. Whose fada'il did he narrate? Imam Ali alayhi salam, against Muawiyah sometimes. So question, do you think Umar ibn Sa'd knew Imam Hussein or not? When his father does the narrations. Why do you think Umar ibn Sa'd was always fighting within himself what to do? Because he had knowledge. He knew Imam Hussein. He wasn't like those that were thirsty to kill Imam Hussein because they had hatred of Imam Hussein, because they had hatred of Imam Ali alayhi salam. He wasn't like that. But he was tempted because his father also was the general that captured parts of Persia. So he wanted the government of Ray. Government of Ray today is South Tehran area. Wanted this. So Dunya seduced him. Dunya tricked him. And he was always fighting with himself. There was confliction. World or akhirat. Dunya or akhirat. Allah or, for example, nafs. And he lost that battle. Lost that battle. Ziyad Arba'in mentions those that fought against Imam Hussein because of the dunya. They sold Imam Hussein for the cheapest of prices. So you see the example of Karbala has stagnation. Those that didn't, and still they are at loss. It has regression. Those that lost everything became mal'oon. Their names are in Ziyat Ashura now. We recited for 1400 years, we've been reciting la'an on them and curse on them. Deserve it. Because there are those that there's no rahmah and mercy upon whatsoever, because they saw the sign of Allah. Are they going to be ever change themselves? They saw the sign of Allah and they fought against it. But the other type that what Ashura does is it causes those many to progress. Causes the ashab to progress. It saved individuals. One of those who had saved was Hur, Hazrat Hur ibn Yazid al-Riyahi. How did Hur? He was a Yazidi general, somebody that they trusted to stop Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He stopped him. He was a very courageous person. He was a very brave person, but he stopped Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Day of Ashura, it comes, and they're looking at him and they're seeing he's shaking. He's scared. And they're wondering, this is Hor. He had like 100 people following him, 1,000 people following him, so many people. Why is Hor shaking on the day of Ashura? He's wondering to himself, I see myself between heaven and hell. I don't know. I know that if I continue this path, I will be. How hard is it to be in the middle of the battle, to turn against your own army, turn against your own friends or whoever they were, switch sides and take your sword, fight against them. He rushes towards Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Imam Hussein, some of the Maqatil says, what's so beautiful? He says that Hor, you are Hor. What does Hor mean? Now you're free in the dunya, free in this world, and you're free in the akhirah. So some take Ashura and they progress. Karbala of Imam Hussein progressed, completely changed them. And that is what we're looking for. We're looking at this effect that Imam Hussein alayhi salam had 1400 years ago. This effect that Imam Hussein is having to us now. That many people, they change with the musibat of Imam Hussein. Many people change when they go to the ziyarat of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Hopefully we can be of those. So therefore we see many examples in Quran about these three states, and we have to ask ourselves, which state are we in? Are you stagnant? Are you regressing? Are you progressing? Why did Allah give us 80 years of life, 100 years of life? Now some people are saying because of AI, they're saying just live another 5 years. Maybe you'll live 140, 150 years because of the ability to pre-diagnose, diseases that people have. But whatever, it shall say 150, 200 years. Why does Allah give us so much life? So that we can reach Kamal, completion. This 70, 80, 100, 200 years is enough for us to get Kamal and to show ourselves for the hereafter. Why? Because this is a place of building. This is a place of display. Allah gives us enough time to show ourselves, show what we are made of. Sometimes He gives us trials, tribulations, we're patient. Sometimes He gives us so much wealth, we don't know what to do. He wants to see, will you share with others? You spend in the right way. How will you use this resource? So we have ups and downs throughout our lives, and this is the stages that a person has from an infant, a child, then school student, then they get married, then they have children, then become a grandparent. These are different stages. Allah wants to test you and see which, who is the best, who is as-sabiqun, for example, who is the foremost of the foremost. In the day of judgment, many people will look and say, Yawmul Hasr, today is the day of regret. Say, I could have been him. Oh, Allah, I could have been him. I didn't try hard enough. Woe upon me. This could have been me if I focused a little bit. So therefore, we see that we have life to reach Kamal and perfection. We have limited amount of life. And we're supposed to progress every day. Every day we're supposed to. That's why you ask yourself today, you had 24 hours from last majlis. What good did you let's just put the entire life away, last 24 hours, and usually our memory is so weak. If I ask you, what did you have for dinner last night? You don't remember. Well, this is because of the cheese. We eat too much cheese without the walnut and we forget. This is the effect of cheese. So anyways, we look, what did we do? I'm telling myself, last 24 hours, what did we do? What good did we do? One is the majlis, alhamdulillah, barakat. What else did we do throughout? Look, Allah gave you another 24 hours. So therefore, the Prophet has a hadith, and possibly other imams have the hadith, that whoever days are equal to one another is maqboon, is at loss. You ever see someone that loses something? Someone, how sad are you when you lose $100, for example? They charge you, for example, or mail comes, says this toll bridge or whatever, you never really went, you got fined or something, and a bill comes 100, I didn't do that. Lost $100, now I have to keep calling and they never answered the phone call. You're just stuck. What do you do? Or a parking ticket or something. You're sad, $100. Now what if I told you that you lost one day, lost 20 hours? So whoever's 2 days are the same as maghboon, is at loss. And whose regresses, The hadith has he's mal'oon, he's cursed. So you're not supposed to go back. If you go back, some of the du'as of the imams is that Allah give my death, bring my death earlier, because I'm at a higher state. At least finish me off when I'm here. Don't finish me off if I regress, and go back to where I started from. So therefore, we're trying to progress every day, and that is the problem that we have. That when you go to communities, everyone wants to be in the comfort zone. Everyone likes to have that normal life, that California breeze, and they just like to chill and be at home. But we don't want to work hard. We don't want to strive hard. We don't just how you are worrying about, for example, your income, portfolio, how much worth you have. You know, you don't like to be stagnant after 30 years of working. You don't want to have the same assets as you had after before 30 years. You don't want. But worse than this is a transient place. What about giving 30 years of life in this world and I'm still in the same position? This is a huge problem that mankind has and Shaitan wants us to have, is to be stagnant. So how can we change ourselves? And I'm saying this to myself. How can we change ourselves? One is to know the potential that you have. Every one of you. Every one of you. It's not that I'm trying to flatter you. This is true. Allah loves every one of you and has given each and every one of you potential out. But we don't value it. That's why we don't want to. We don't value ourselves. We look around us and we get influenced. They say one of the biggest factors sometimes of influence is your zip code. More than parents. Children, they say their zip code, who they hang out with, community. This has a bigger influence than their teachers, than their peers. So we look around us, see people, they're just working for dunya, so we work for dunya. They don't work for the hereafter. They don't work to remove ethical traits, vices from themselves. Some of our ulama, for 20 years, they worked on one trait on themselves. Because they knew life is valuable. I have to progress. I have to reach Kamal. If you look at the entire universe, isn't everything moving towards perfection? When you look at plants, for example, that seed sprouts, there's a stem, there's leaves, and then there's a bud, a flower, it reaches Kamal. Allah is taking everything into Hadd Tamam, to perfection. And if you look at the definition, one of the definitions of Rabb, Lord, means tarbiyat. I think tarbiyat is also an Urdu word, right? Tarbiyat, it's in Farsi. Tarbiyat means to take something and you make it perfect. It's tarbiyat, you become the Rabb. So a farmer is doing tarbiyat of those seeds, become stems and becomes flowers. Or the tree, becomes a tree, becomes fruit, and he takes the fruit, he did tarbiyat of this. What is our tarbiyat? What is our hadd tamam? What is our perfection? At-taqarrub ila Allah, closeness to Allah. Closeness to Allah is our perfection. So Allah has planned and made everything. Quran says He's created you and then He has guided us. He's created the universe and then He's guiding the galaxies, the stars, everything on earth, all the organisms on earth. He's guiding me and you too. Sometimes our differences, our guidance is dependent on our own action. We have to help ourselves. That the vegetation doesn't have free will. It's going to reach Kamal no matter what. We are free to choose. Do I want to be perfect? Do I want to be complete? No, I don't want to. So because we don't value ourselves, we are at loss. We think that we're here and our hadd tamam and our perfection is the same as the animal. The animal that if he eats and sleeps and has a home, he's good. If we eat and sleep, we have something to eat, we're good. No. Suppose we have a different value system. There's a different value for insan. Once one of our scholars by the name of Muhammad Taqi Ja'fari, Alam Muhammad Taqi Ja'fari, heard of him. He has different books, and he's in Iran. He's passed away. He has Shahra Nahjul Balagha, different books. He's actually one of those that was he read other sciences as well. So he goes to a panel, a discussion in Europe with professors. And the discussion is this. what is the worth of humans? What is the worth? How much are humans? And it's a philosophical question, and the question is hard to answer. So the professors, they come, Western, European professors, they say, man is worth this, man is worth that. And then he begins to present. And he says that man's worth is equal to what he seeks. Man's worth is equal to his desires. Man's worth is equal to his ambition. He says, if, for example, if man is seeking and all he is desiring is a car, teenager, all they want is a car. That's all they want in life, then his worth is equal to that car. Hopefully it's a good car, it's an expensive car. That's all their worth is. Hopefully the doors open this way. That's their worth. Two, if their entire purpose, and many people, this is their goal, this is the American dream, is to own a home. And the dream is to have it paid off. For example, for many people, is to have a home, it's paid off because I hate mortgage. For example, I'm tired of paying rent, or I'm paying it off. So I'm tired of paying mortgage. So if my entire life, 30 years, I'm paying, my entire ambition is just to pay off my home, then my worth will be equal to 1 million, 2 million, whatever the home is worth. But he says if man's ambition, so man is equal, his value is equal to his ambition. If his ambition is equal, his ambition or desires is Allah, is God, then you cannot put a price and value on God. You cannot put a price and value on man. His value becomes priceless. Let's recite Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, ala Muhammad wa ajal. When he said this, they gave a standing ovation. And they were very happy that he gave, they couldn't think of such a thing he said. Then he came back and he said, listen, this was not my idea. This is what I said, man's value is equal to 6. It's not my saying. A person said this 1400 years ago by the name of Adi ibn Abi Talib. When he says, قدر الرجل على قدر همته. قدر الرجل على قدر همته. The value of a person is the value of what he seeks, what his ihtimam is, what he gives value to, what he wants, thoughts. So therefore we see that if we realize that our value is priceless while we are seeking, we will always give preference to spiritual development more than material development. Yet we're always seeking material, physical development. It's good. It's not something bad. Again, I say to have good businessmen, it's something good. To have rich people and communities to support, very good. We need that. We need actually economic power for Imam al-Zaman's Faraj. We need this. But if you're doing it just the intention for yourself to have it, that's something else. But if you're seeking economic wealth to help Islam, to help Imams, then that is also akhirah. Imam Ali alayhi salam worked very hard when it came to the world. To the world, he worked very hard. He gave a very high quality product. Product of Imam Ali alayhi salam was digging wells at one bi'r. Today there's water. It comes from bi'r Ali. What kind of well must you build? Today it's still working. But he was doing this for God. He didn't say that gaining money is haram or gaining money is bad, even though he was the most ascetic person. What he showed in his own life was spending it for himself is not right for him. But having economic power is good. He would sometimes go, get a plot of land, have a servant go there. Tell the servant, for example, because the goal was to free the servant. Work there for 5 years, work there for 3 years, work there for this amount of time. If you develop this farm, you dig the well, taught him, for example, how to dig the well. If you have this farm, you'll be set free. Imam Ali alayhi salam, from nothing from land, have servants sometimes do this, they would be free, and he would have this economic. So he gained lots of wealth. So much that when he became the Khalifa, he didn't need money from Baytul Mal. He didn't need it. But he was a wealthy person. He left inheritance. Imam Hassan alayhi salam, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, they had mawqufat. But when it came to his own life, he was a zahid, he was ascetic. So therefore, working and gaining that income, if it is for Allah, that is ibadah. Actually, the tradition has a person that actually really works and it is for Allah, their sins will be removed. When you work hard in Islam, recommends the work hard person. A very interesting hadith from Maulana alayhi salam. Actually talks about if a person is lazy in this world, he is more lazy for the. If a person is lazy in this world, then he's going to be more kasal, lazy. He's going to be more aksal for the after. Because the dunya he sees is right in front of him. He doesn't go. There's sunlight, there's land, there's water. Just plant something, do something, work. There's jobs, go find it, just work, right? He doesn't want to. He sees it. He sees everyone else work and gain. Now, when it comes to Akhirat and hereafter, he doesn't even see it. He's going to work for the Akhirat now. If he's going to be lazy for this world that he sees, he's going to be more lazy for the. And I have seen actually people that are on top of things, more organized. They are actually more successful in their religion as well because they have a program from themselves. They have a schedule. They know, they study things. They know how to do it. But that same person never wants to learn in the dunya, never wants to learn a trade, a skill, for example, doesn't want to do anything. He's not going to be successful. How? Because it's very complicated. How can I cause Radwanullah? How can I cause Allah to be satisfied? So therefore, what we need to do, and I'm telling myself and you, is to be careful, to know our worth, to not be in stagnation, to be in the state of progress. I'm going to leave with this, because we ran out of time, a story from one of the great scholars and speakers that he has a dialogue with himself by the name of Sheikh Ja'far ibn Hussein ibn Ali Shushtari, born in 1800s. He was actually the master of the pulpit. Today, some of his speeches or books are translated in English. So he's from the 1800s. He would give speeches about Imam Hussein alayhi salam that they say back then some of the Qajar kings would come listen. Thousands of people then would come to his speeches. Now he is thinking to himself, he's saying that what is going to happen? I'm at the age of 60, 70, old age. Death is approaching me. Where am I at? A scholar, very pure scholar. His advice would have an effect. He talks to himself and he thinks, for example, he says, am I a believer? Am I a mu'min? And then he reads, for example, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُم. Believers are those who, when Allah is mentioned, shake. For example, if Quran is mentioned, the signs of God, he trembles. Am I like that? When I think of God, I shake? I'm fearful all the time? No. Many times, maybe God is mentioned. Maybe many times Quran is mentioned, and I don't shake. So he says, according to this equation, I'm not a believer. I'm not a true believer. And he goes through other things. And he says, for example, well, do I have good attributes? Did I rid myself of, jealousy? Did I rid myself of a generous person? Did I rid myself of stinginess? In each one of these traits, when you look into it to yourself, you say, maybe I have some of this. Maybe I have. Maybe fear, for example, you should only fear Allah. Maybe I do have fear of others. I do have despair. I have something inside me. This I can't guarantee either. So he's thinking, what else? So far, I'm not a true mu'min. A scholar saying this, not me and you, a scholar. And two, I don't have ethical traits. Then he says to himself, how about my ibadah? My ibadah. my worship. Fasting, I fasted. Hajj, salat, this will save me. He says, well, how do you know, Sheikh Jafar, how do you know that you did this for Allah? How do you know the traditions have that ana khayru sharik? I am the best partner. You do it for me and others, I will give it all to the partner. There can only actions that are specifically for Allah. Therefore, he says, I am afraid that my fasting is not accepted. I'm afraid that my salat will not be accepted. Maybe it was for others. Maybe there was a riyah in it. He says to himself, what do I have left? What do I have left? Then he talks to himself and says, there's other hadith that say. This is when we talk about Imam Hussein alayhi salam causing progression, taking our hands. Doesn't mean for him safinatun, the ship of salvation. Then he says, I've read traditions though, that مثل أهل بيتي فيكم كمثل سفينة نوح من ركبها نجا. But tradition, this ark of Imam Hussein alayhi salam is like the ark of Prophet Noah. Whoever rides this, boards this ark will be safe. Ark of Imam, of Imam Hussein. Now he's taking traditions where rahmat of Allah is in, especially in. Then he says to himself, example, I'm not a true believer, but the tradition has قال الحسين أنا قتيل العبرة. I am killed, I have been killed for tears. لا يذكروني مؤمن إلا بكى. Whenever a mu'min remembers me, he cries. And I say, yes, whenever I remember Imam Hussein, sadness, I do. So it says mu'min. So maybe according to this hadith, I am a mu'min. Then he talks to himself that Shi'atuna yansurunana wa yafrahuna bifarihina yahzanuna bihuznina. Shi'as are those that happy, our happiness. Are sad with our sadness. So according to this, I'm a Shia. Then he says, those I have done ziyarat of Imam Hussein. And whoever visits Imam Hussein, kaman zar Allah fi arsh, as if he has visited Allah in his arsh. He has visited Allah. How can Allah chastise me when I have visited Allah? So all his hope, you see, it was not in his salat, siyam, even though these are wanted from us. His genuine hope, the scholar, is nothing Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Then he says, even if my ziyarat is not accepted, I know people, they have done ziyarat, and they are my friend. The tradition has that if somebody does ziyarat, they can do shafa'at for 10 or 100 people. So maybe one of my friends would do shafa'at. Then he says, for example, that man baka wa abka wahid falahul jannah wa man tabaka falahul jannah. Whoever cries or makes cry one person, heaven exists for him. He will be enter heaven. And whoever even tries to cry like this, he will enter heaven. So brothers and sisters, the reason why I said this and we end with this is that when we talk about progression, one of the best ways to be saved, one of the best ways to progress is through Imam Hussein salam. Maybe our salat is not perfect, our fasting is not. If I ask you, where is your hope? Who's going to help you? When you're in the worst calamity or in the worst test that Allah gives you, who do you call? Say, Ya Hussein, or Ya Abbas. Say these names. Just how the prophets have mentioned these names. Prophet Adam, when he sinned, he didn't sin, but he did tarka Allah. He did not do the best action. Then he meant the dua. He was introduced to the names of Ahlul Bayt. He mentioned Ya Hamid bihaq Muhammad, Ya Ali bihaq Ali. He asked Allah bihaq the Prophet Muhammad, Ya Ali bihaq Ali, Ya Fatir bihaq Fatima, Ya Qadim al-Ihsan bihaq al-Hasan wal-Hussein. When Prophet Yusuf was in the well, he added tawassul to his name. When Prophet Ibrahim was thrown in the fire, he said that tunic he had, that clothes he had names. These 5 infallible names of the Prophet. So therefore we see that the best way for us to reach that destination is to look at Insan, perfect human. We've been crying for 30, 60 days for. And hopefully through love of him, his intercession, he will begin to transform us, inshallah, take us towards completion. Ya Allah, we ask because of the dear name of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, never separate us and the majlis of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Never separate us and our children and progeny from love, walayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Make us good servants of Imam Zaman, inshallah. Let's progress, inshallah, every day. Give safety, security to those that are oppressed, especially in Gaza. Give shafa to all of those that are sick, in need of healing, especially children that are in need of healing. Give mercy upon all of our marhumi. Every day they ask, tradition, every day, what did you do for me? Asking. Inshallah, give them the reward of this majlis if there's, inshallah, there is for certain. Expedite the return of Imam Zaman with a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajal. Allama Amini mentions that each member of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, the five had representatives or were there in Karbala. That our Prophet was there by Ali Akbar alayhi salam because Ali Akbar was ashbahun nas khalqan wa khulqan bi Rasulullah. It's as if Rasulullah was there. It's a symbol of Rasulullah. Imam Ali was represented by who? By Hazrat Abba. It's very similar to Imam Ali. Imam Hassan alayhi salam was represented in Karbala by his son Qasim. Imam Hussein himself represented himself. But who represented Fatima to Zahra? It's named. It's beautiful name, our mother. It's our mother. She is the mother that made dua for us when her ribs were broken. How hard is it when you inhale and exhale when you have broken ribs? And at that time, the narrator mentions, I saw Fatima to Zahra. One of the last du'as she did was that Allah forgive the sinners of my Shia. Forgive the sinners, not bless the souls of those that have taqwa. No, someone like me, she made dua, sinners of the Shia with a broken rib, the bruised heart. You know, she's a mother. She doesn't show this to anyone. Mothers are like this. When they're injured and harmed, they don't show their pain to their kids. They hide it. 75 days, 95 days, she hid her pain. She hid her broken rib. She hid her injured arm from her own children. She tried to smile for them. That is what a mother does. So she was represented by who on the day of Ashura? Fatima to Zahra. Sometimes you say, what is it? Fatima bint Muhammad. Fatima, the daughter of Muhammad. She represents, who did she raise that actually lost mother at such a young age? Was Lady Zainab. Lady Zainab is Fatima Sukhra. Is Fatima, we have Fatima to Zahra, which is true Fatima. Second Fatima to Zahra, which is Lady Zainab. That Allama Imam Bukhari says that Zainabu wa ma Zainab wa ma adraka ma Zainab. Zainab, you like Laylatul Qadr, you do not know who Zainab is. You will not know who Zainab is. He says that if anybody were to question and say, is she infallible? Is she ma'soom? Allah Imam Bukhari says, you cannot say she's not ma'soom. No one would say she's not. How can she not be ma'soom? He says, when she has some of the responsibilities of Imam Hussein, when Imam Zain al-Abidin was sick. He talks about the hijab of Lady Zainab. He mentions that nobody, la yara shakhsaha, nobody saw her hatta yawm al-taf, until the day of Karbala. Nobody had ever seen Lady Zainab, how she even looks like. Now it's time that Lady Zainab is bound by chain. Now that when she would ride on an animal, the Bani Hashim would surround her. Halqa of Bani Hashim, Hadrat Abbas was there to make sure her chastity, her modesty is protected because no one saw her till the day of Taf. Now it is the challenge of Zainab. We end with this holy Lady Zainab, pure representative of Sayyidah Fatima on Karbala. You know, brothers and sisters, Lady Zainab kissed somewhere that nobody else kissed. Lady Zainab kissed Imam Hussein in a place that even Imam Hussein's mother didn't kiss, they say. She came, they say, in front of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, removing, usually when you go to a funeral, you have to remove flowers. You have to go through people and they're saying condolences, condolences. But I want you to take yourselves to Karbala, and Lady Zainab is coming to the holy body of Imam Hussein. She has to go through the Lashkar of Sham. She has to go through the Lashkar of Kufa, of all these enemies. Instead of removing flowers to see the body, she has to go through the daggers and spears to see what they have done to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. It was then that possibly here she says, Anta akhi, are you my brother? That they have turned Imam Hussein, how it says in the Maqtal, they have turned him into a porcupine. They shot so many arrows at his holy body. There they say some that she goes towards the body of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, the severed neck of Imam Hussein. There she kisses Imam Hussein, a place where nobody else had ever kissed, and kisses the headless body of Abu Abdullah, the headless neck of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Inna lillahi inna alayhi raji'un. Matam al-Hussein.
Hussein, 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 Hussein. Karbala walo, Khuda hafiz, Khuda hafiz, है रुखसत की घड़ी, ऐ करबला वालो खुदा हाफिज, खुदा सलामे आखरी, सलामे आखरी है करबला वालो खुदा हाफिज, खुदा ना हमसे हो सका कुछ भी अदा हक मेज़बानी का, ना हमसे हो सका कुछ भी अदा हक मेज़बानी का, है ये शर्मिंदगी, है ये शर्मिंदगी है करबला वालो खुदा हाफिज, खुदा हाफिज, खुदा तुम्हारे साथ ज़हरा भी यहाँ तशरीफ लाई थी, तुम्हारे साथ ज़हरा भी यहाँ तशरीफ लाई थी। ये इज़्ज़त भी मिली, ये इज़्ज़त भी मिली है करबला वालो खुदा हाफिज, खुदा हाफिज, खुदा हमारे घर की रौनक भी तुम्हारे साथ जाती है, हमारे घर की रौनक भी तुम्हारे साथ। उदासी छा गई, उदासी छा गई है करबला वालो खुदा हाफिज, खुदा हाफिज, खुदा तुम्हारे गम में रोते रोते मर जाते तो अच्छा था, तुम्हारे गम में रोते रोते मर जाते तो ये हसरत रह गई, ये हसरत रह गई ए करबला वालो खुदा हाफिज, खुदा खुदा किसी सूरत बहलता ही नहीं, दिल कैसे बहलाए, किसी सूरत बहलता ही नहीं, दिल कैसे बहलाए। अजब है जाकनी, अजब है जाकनी है करबला वालो खुदा हाफिज, हाफिज। फिर अगले साल हम यूं ही सफ़े मातम बिछाएंगे, फिर अगले साल हम यूं ही सफ़े मातम बिछाएंगे, फिर अगले साल हम यूं ही सफ़े मातम। रही गर जिंदगी, रही गर जिंदगी है करबला वालो खुदा हाफिज, खुदा हाफिज, खुदा हाफिज। या हुसैन, या हुसैन, या हुसैन। अल्लाहुम्मा
Face towards, say salam, Prophet. Salam. You mourner for Rasulullah. Salam alaykum, Rasulullah. Salam alayki ya Safiya. Salam. Ali ibn Ab. Salam Sayyidatin. Salam alaykum Sibtiyir Sayyid Sani wal Hussein. Salam alayki ya Ali ibn al-Hussein, Sayyid al-Ab. Salam alayki ya Muhammad. السلام عليك يا السلام عليك يا مسبل عليك يا علي موسى السلام عليك يا السلام عليك يا سهل السلام عليك يا سدب سلام سي من اللهم صل على نورك سراجك صي وصيك صلوات